All right, and welcome everyone to a special episode where we are talking about the hot topic: Are the Pokebros ruining Lorcana? And I've got special guest here, Geoff, manager at one of my local game stores and good friend of mine. How you going, Geoff?
Yeah, not too bad. Good to be back. It's been a little while.
Yeah, you were on here last for your DLC
The
recap.
DLC, yeah. So what's that? 4 months? 5 months? I don't know.
Something like that, yeah. And yeah, how you been going? You been playing much Lorcana?
More than last year between DLCs, so doing well there.
That's good. All right, so what we're talking about today is primarily around the big influx of players and card value and money sort of coming into the game that's occurred really over the last, I'm going to say, 3 months. So rather than just talking about whether that's good or bad, what we're going to try and do is go through all the different stakeholders in the game and just talk about the impacts that these changes have had on them. So the stakeholders that we've sort of come up with, we discussed this earlier, and we sort of categorized 5 different groups. So group number one, professionals. So these are sort of your professional players who are trying to basically win prize cards, make content, make a living through the game. Number two, investors. So people who are trying to buy and sell cards and make a profit that way. We've got card stores, so both local and sort of bigger retailers. Collectors, so these are people who collect the cards for fun, and then finally players. So without too much more ado, I think we'll just sort of go through these groups one by one and talk about what the impact has been on them over the last, say, 3 months. So starting with professionals, so we've talked about this as players trying to make money or build a career. So this is strictly talking about players, not just sort of buyers and sellers of cards. So the 3 examples we came up with were content creators slash coaches. So these are people who are trying to make Twitch and YouTube, etc., and make money that way. We've got competitive players who rely on sponsorships, prize money, coaching, content, but also a big one of that will be just the prize cards that they win will determine how much money they make when they go to tournaments, essentially. And finally, sharks. So these are people who sort of go between different card games and different tournaments and just try and win prize cards regardless of the game, regardless of the IP, regardless of whether they particularly like it or not. So, Geoff, how have you seen things change in this space over the last, say, 3 months?
I really think it's mainly been the last 1 month, so there's been a
Yeah,
big
right.
jump since start of June. So
Yep.
yeah, I think it's really good for the professional content creators and coaches because more eyes on the game. You can chuck out more content, and there's people want that price tracking, and you can go for all that sort of basic lowest denominator content which people eat up.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, for the competitive players, like don't know about you, but random promos I've had have doubled in price, going from
Yeah.
like 2K to 4K, and that's a nice little buffer.
Yeah, definitely. I think this. I mean, let's just talk about just taking a quick step back. I think this store champs in particular, this is the first time when the prize card has been worth like maybe over $100 that I've seen.
I think early days they were
Yeah,
like the
yeah, right.
first couple, but that fell off, I think, by the third season
Yeah,
in Australia at least.
yeah, because it definitely felt like I joined the game in set 6 in Azurite C.
Hmm.
And back then, I feel like you could probably get a promo card if you didn't win one and you wanted one. You could probably get it between $50 and $80 Australian. I think you could
Yeah.
find one, and
Which
that's
is surprising because they only used to give out one to the first place for the foil.
yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, it was top 8 when I started the game. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So yeah, they changed it, I think, around set 6 or between 6 and 7, somewhere around there.
Yep.
And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we looked back at those older ones if they've gone through the roof now just because of their availability at the time.
Yeah, surely that would be
If not,
interesting.
someone, it's a good place to invest.
Yeah, yeah, and then yeah, I think because the Woody card, I feel like
Hmm.
I don't know whether it's been like just the Toy Story, just the IP that's really pushed the price up for that particular Store Champs card. Because yeah, people were selling them for close to $400, and they were actually selling too. It wasn't too hard to find buyers at that price, and
Hmm.
I'd never
I
seen that before.
I think that's like it's just a perfect storm. I think because you have this price spike and you've got Toy Story and here's a Toy Story character because Buzz was the big enchanted from the previous wilds,
Yep.
so you want both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean to Ravenberger's credit, I think they did a good job on this one. Like they really picked the you had the Buzz Iconic and you had the Woody prize
Hmm.
cards, so that yeah,
Yeah,
it felt like they'd put a lot more thought into it and they'd done a good job on that one. So
yeah.
props to them.
And I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward they try and do more, try and time it with the movies.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of communication that needs to go on between Ravensburg and Disney for that.
Yeah, yeah, that's another
So,
good point because Toy Story 5 was kind of dropping around the
mm,
time when this Store Champ season was happening, so that probably brought a lot more eyeballs onto the
yeah.
franchise.
Yeah, don't know if it was good luck or good communication, but yeah, they did it.
Yeah, yeah, who knows on that one? You never know what's happening behind the scenes.
Mm,
So yeah, I guess on the whole, yeah, for content creators and coaches, this has been
mm.
fantastic. Probably
Yeah,
for these competitive players who are trying to win prize cards, traveling to DLCs and CCQs and whatever. If the
yeah,
prize cards are worth a lot more money, that's good for them. So I'd say they've profited from the recent increase.
yeah. As long
And
as they didn't sell too early.
yeah, true. And then the final category, Sharks. Again, this is probably the first set champs personally where I've seen a lot of people who I've never seen at a Lorcana tournament before who have shown up and they're quite high level players. And
Mm,
yeah, you talk to them, their motivation is to win the prize card and sell it. So I've
yeah,
not seen a lot of that in Lorcana before this set.
yeah. It hasn't been too bad. I think
Yeah,
when we first got, yeah, Australia was different because we got the first four sets and then sort of there was a few events before the DLC. But at that point, there were a lot of people jumping in on that Disney hype
yeah,
and expecting the Disney adults to spend a lot of money on the big promo cards.
yeah. Disney adults. I like that
Yeah.
term.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a feels a bit smaller, but you are right. There are a bunch of faces that I haven't seen before.
Yeah. All right. So, I probably should have jumped to this slide earlier, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So I guess what these people, what this group of stakeholders cares about is primarily the value of the cards, the market stability, the tournament prestige, the liquidity, and the long-term health of the game. Probably not all of these would apply to each of those. I think yeah, if you're trying to make a living through this game through content, then the long-term health of the game is a huge factor.
Yeah.
Um, And yeah, overall, I think the influx of interest in the game is probably good for the long term health of the game.
Yeah.
I sort of felt towards the ends of maybe set 10 and 11, there was just definitely less people showing up to locals, and then a lot fewer people at set champs as well. So I think this influx of interest in the game has been really good on both of those fronts. I'm not sure what your experience has been like, Geoff.
Yeah. There was definitely a drop off. Yeah, during set seven, eight, oh, especially after nine with the rotation,
Yeah,
there was a huge drop off there.
yeah,
I think this is like the first big influx we've had since that drop off.
yeah.
But yeah, moving into this next rotation, people seem more excited than disappointed this time around.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think at the first rotation, and probably for a lot of players, this was their first big trading card game because it was
Yeah.
quite easy to get into. They were just sort of seeing what they lost from the rotation, which
Mm.
is fair enough because, to be fair, the Fabled was 80-90% reprint, so you weren't actually gaining a
Yeah.
lot of new cards, you were just losing them.
Yeah.
But now we've got a big proper sort of 210 card set coming out, so you got a lot of new stuff you can play with. And I think on top of that, at the end of set 8, I'm not like personally I didn't feel sick of the format, and I'm not sure that everybody else was either. I think people were quite enjoying a lot of their decks. But
I think at that stage the game was still finding its feet. Like at that point, yellow hadn't got its identity properly,
yeah.
and yeah, it was still like yeah, as you said, like yeah, people weren't overplaying it yet.
hmm But now it's just like, oh, I mean, I cannot wait to get rid of some of these cards. People are just sick to death of them. So,
Yeah.
all right. So I think that's the professional
Yeah.
group covered. They've been loving this influx of money and interest in the game.
Yeah.
So on
So,
to group number 2, investors. So here we're talking about people who are just buying and selling cards, but they don't necessarily play or collect the game. So they're basically just like short-term trading.
yeah. Yeah, and this is also outside of regular retailers. These are
Yeah,
individuals, maybe small businesses, but usually sort of, no more than 3 people sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. We've got card store LGSs and big box retailers as a separate. All right.
Yeah.
So what these people care about, uh, primarily it's just about value, and then to a degree it's about liquidity. So how easily can I sell my cards? But yeah, definitely the card value. When that's going up, that is good for these players. And
That's not so much the individual card value they care about, though. They just care about the box value most of the time.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the ones that we had in this group on the previous slide is scalpers, which again I don't feel like that's been a big problem of people buying up huge amounts of boxes and cases and affecting the availability. But this set, it feels like it's starting to become a bit more of an issue. Do you want to? Because you manage a card store, Geoff, so I think you have a pretty
Yeah.
good perspective on
Yeah.
this.
So, yeah, like last few sets, I've not bothered doing any pre orders for customers. But when I saw the spike last month, I sort of like was trying to tell everyone, hey, get pre orders in now
hmm
because it might sell out at release or they might go up 50% or even 100% come release. They are already selling above like the last couple of sets. So, yeah, you might have a tougher time getting them at a good price if this trend continues.
Yeah, which I guess taking a step back from Lorcana, I assume you've seen this. You've played and
Yeah.
bought and sold dozens of card games. So is this a pretty? How does this normally play out in your experience?
So it usually comes in waves.
hmm
So while the value's high, there's more people doing it. But if the players as a whole decide to say, no, we're not paying that price, they start to disappear.
hmm
So sometimes I'll give Magic as an example here
Yep.
because the Final Fantasy set that went gangbusters. People were all over it. Like collector boxes are going for crazy amounts.
hmm
But the next set we got after that was Spider Man, which was like one of the worst selling sets in quite a long time.
Yep.
And because of that, that actually pushed away all these investors from Magic.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if it wasn't for Spider-Man being so bad, the sets afterwards would have been a lot harder for the players to get
Yeah.
because there wasn't that trend of every set's a guarantee.
Yeah. So as players, just thinking this through. So I guess one of the things that you want as a player is when you go to your locals, you want to be able to get sort of the prize packs from the current set.
Yeah.
Um, do you think for this set that'll be realistic? You'll just be able to get your sort of 2 packs of
Um, it depends on the store and how far they're thinking ahead and paying attention to the game.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I've already set aside a couple of cases to last us the next 2-3 months
Mm-hmm.
of events.
Yep.
But not all stores will do that. They'll just start selling it, then someone comes in, buys some, buys some. Then by week 2 or 3, they realize they've got none and they can't get any more in.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all comes down to the store if they're planning ahead or not.
Yeah. And then I guess on the supply side of things, how does this normally play out from like the distributors in your experience, or does that completely vary based on the game and the company?
A lot of our stock we're having to front load now,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of like we need to guess how popular a set's going to be
Yep.
because come week 2 or 3, there's going to be no restocks,
Yeah, right.
and we're just having to wait for the supplier to hopefully get more in, but that doesn't always happen, or it's just a small amount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
okay.
like as soon as I noticed the spike in Lorcana, I went to increase my pre-order,
Yep.
but I was told it's like, nah, we've got none left already, and that was so my order was had to be in on a Friday. I messaged them on the Monday, and it had already all been assigned.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Because I assume it in my limited knowledge of how this whole process works, they've already
mm,
printed these cards probably months in advance, so they can't just go
yeah,
and print more. It's not quite that simple. You need to if
yeah,
a set sells well, yeah, it's not trivial to just go and print more of it, is my understanding of the whole process.
yeah. There's also once it has been printed, shipping it out and who gets how much stock. And being in Australia, we're a bit further out,
Yeah,
so it takes a little while to get to us, and we're also a much smaller market than the US and the Euro market.
yeah, yeah. All right. Well, this probably all leads us well into the next one, which we've already started talking
Yeah,
about, was the local game stores and the big box retailers. So yeah, we've split this into your local game store, so your card shops, and then places like Target, Kmart, Costco, whatever. Take
yeah.
your pick. Just sort of, they're not card stores, they're not play stores, they're just stores
Yeah.
where you can buy
Stockists.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on this front, the primary concerns sort of got liquidity. So not so much value, I think, for your local game stores and stuff. It's more about, yeah, sort of, can you buy stock and then sell it to your customers reliably? Um, Stock availability, and then definitely long-term viability of the game. You don't want to be investing in product if the game's gonna die. So
Yeah.
uh, yeah, so stock availability we kind of touched on. This is probably for the first time. I feel like this will be a set where if you want to go out and buy a box or a case after, say, 4 weeks of the game, there's not just going to be boxes and cases and troves sitting on shelves ready for you to
Yeah, you
buy.
might have to travel half an hour or an hour to pick up a box.
Yeah, and again, I don't feel like that's been the case for previous sets.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so yeah, liquidity is very important because yeah, I've seen a lot of stores get really hurt by buying big on something
Hmm.
and just having 10, 20K worth of stock sitting there because no one wants it.
Yeah,
So this nice boom at the moment's great because we've been able to clear out a bunch of old boxes,
yeah, good.
like even the less popular sets. Like we're at the stage where we're sitting on 1 to 2 cases of all the sets
Yep,
because we had faith in the Lorcana market long term.
yep,
Like we knew that people will want to pick up like even Floodborn or Ursula's at some point.
yeah. Yeah, I guess if you've
So
got a big influx of new players coming in who haven't seen these cards and these sets before, then opening packs is a pretty exciting experience.
yeah. They're big boxes. They just want the stock gone so they can spend that money on the next thing.
Yeah,
So they're really happy with it, the big box retailers, because it barely touches their shelves.
yeah,
If it gets to the point of Pokemon.
hmm,
Like we're not there yet for Lorcana, but the next couple of sets will sort of like set the trend.
yeah, yeah. So I guess there's a lot hinging on the next few sets, whether they can sort of keep this momentum going and keep the interest there, or whether it sort of goes back to the previous levels.
Yeah. As a player, I sort of almost want not a complete dud set, but a set with good cards for playing, but not chase cards.
Yeah, yeah,
So to
yeah,
help bring the, resellability of those sealed boxes down.
yeah, yeah. Because that's another one where the price of boxes feels like it's gone up quite a bit. I've seen some set 12 boxes selling for like $400, which
Yeah. Well, last one that we had in stock, we sold for about that.
yeah,
And yeah, like 2 weeks earlier, like we noticed that there was this trend upwards and we sort of were ahead of it and
hmm
had ours. And people were like, what's it doing at that price? But then 2 weeks later, people were happy to get it at that price.
yeah, that's yeah. It's very interesting. I guess yeah. For sticking to what we're talking about, card stores,
Yeah.
it's great because you can liquidate all your old stock that you had and you can
Yeah.
sell things for more money. But yeah, we'll talk about the impact that has on players shortly because
Yeah.
it's definitely different. All right, so before we get to players, group number four uh, is the collectors. So these are people motivated primarily by owning cards, but these are not people who are just trying to buy and then flip cards for a profit. So we've sort of grouped these into your very high end collectors. So enchanteds, graded cards, iconics like max rarity sets, these sorts of people. So for each set, you're looking at spending probably I don't know, ten
Five
thousand
figures
dollars.
easy.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
$5,000 plus per set to collect like a four of enchanteds and whatnot. And then the graded card market. That's one that's seen a huge uptick in like graded cards.
Yeah.
Like
The graded 10 Golden Mickey was one of the big ignition points for this
yeah, that's the anecdote that
trend.
I heard too. There was one of the teams in the US or one of the collectors in the US got the first PSA 10 Golden Mickey, and I think they sold it for upwards of 100,000 US dollars.
Yeah.
And then that just felt like it sent a big shockwave through the collecting community and the investing community too, for that matter.
Yeah.
Uh, so after high-end collectors, we've got completionists, so people who just want one of each card to sort of complete their sets. Below that, there's characters collectors, so you might just want one of each princess or villain or Lilo and Stitch, whatever, collecting franchises. And I think there's a few of them out there. And
Mm.
this is a group that I'm somewhere in between these groups. In terms of completionists, I don't have a play set of every card, but I've got one of
Mm.
every card probably in low rarity. And
Yeah.
then in our house, there's a couple of franchises where we're trying to chase all the not iconics, the enchanters down.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd put myself personally somewhere between these two.
Yeah. I'm personally more of a completionist, but that's more for personal sets so I can play the game, but I'm not aiming for that 100%.
Yeah,
I'm sort of like at 70, 80% close enough, and then I'll chase cards if I need them or, ask the community, who can lend me cards.
yep, yeah. And then finally, just casual collectors, so just people who like to crack packs and
Yeah.
build their own sets.
Mm.
All right, so I think for collectors, there's really two concerns. There's card availability and affordability.
Yeah.
So I think card availability has probably gone up quite a lot because there's a lot more product being opened.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot more listings for cards on stores and on eBay and whatever else.
Yeah, people are a bit more motivated from, this $5 card's now 10 or
Yeah,
$50 card's 100. It's like, okay, I'm going to get up and actually list it now.
yeah, definitely. So probably things like old set champs promos or just old
Mm.
regular promos from your locals. A lot of those are like 20 to some of them are like $50. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're seeing heaps more. So availability's gone up, but affordability has gone down. So
Yeah.
I think previously like we're trying to collect all the Lion King enchanteds as an example, and
Yeah.
generally if people are cracking packs, there's sort of the big week one price hike and the prices are insane, so we just don't
Yeah.
buy. But after say weeks 2 and 3, the price generally settles. For Lion King specifically, it's generally somewhere between $200 to $250 because it's one of the
Yeah.
more popular franchises. But yeah, if you were a sort of, let's say, Toy Story collector, like
Yeah.
I know the Alien Enchanted's going for $600. The Buzz
Yeah. The
Iconic is
Jesse's
just,
like 5, 6.
yeah. So I think that those days of sort of two hundred bucks being like your rough price point of what you might pay for a popular franchise,
Mm.
that might not be the normal anymore.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword for them because, like, for them to get more in is going to cost them more,
Hmm.
but then all of a sudden their collection has doubled in value.
That's true, yeah.
But they're not looking at moving it, which is like, so it's not really money to them.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything you're saying there. So if they ever wanted to get out of the game and sell their collection,
Yeah.
they can hopefully get back what they paid for it, or maybe even more.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, if you're not ever intending to sell and it's just sort of sitting in your binders or on display in your house, then that that's not really money to you. That's not an asset. It's like just something you want to look at.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I guess swings and roundabouts for collectors. There's more availability, but you're probably going to have to pay quite a bit more if you want to complete your set.
Yeah.
If it's going to include things like enchanters.
Yeah. And can be a bit of a headache if you're a collector that insures their collection.
Ah, I didn't even think about that. Is that commonplace among collectors?
For some high-end collectors, they will like they'll have their house content insurance, but then they will have collector's insurance for their collection separate.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah. So
do you need to sort
yeah,
of update your insurance plan when your collection goes up or
I'm not
down?
100% like on it, but I believe so. It is worth doing because if it's been quoted at a certain amount and then something happens to it and it's worth double or triple,
Yeah.
you're not likely to get the full payout.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's just normal insurance, I guess.
Yeah, insurance is a headache, but it's definitely worth them having because I've heard of collections getting flood damage or
Oh, yeah.
yeah, or places they've been targeted by. Unfortunately, usually people they know, and it's disappeared.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
so never fun for that, but
No,
yeah,
yeah, no, definitely something to think about if you've got tens of thousands of dollars of cards in your house. It's worth
yeah.
thinking about insurance.
It's like you insure your car, and like I've had insurance on a car that's not even worth $1,000, so
Yeah.
that's more to cover the other person's car.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I get you. All right, and finally,
Yeah,
the final group, which is probably the most important group, is the players. But I think it's good we talked about all the other stuff first to sort of set the scene.
yeah,
So yeah, the players, people who are motivated by playing the game. So we've grouped these quite differently, and I think the knock-on effect to these different groups is varied. So we've got sort of the bigger tournament players, so players who are primarily playing in DLCs and CCQs, and these players probably have the means to travel. Well, I guess there's some people will just play their local DLC, and then some of them are flying around the world and playing every DLC.
yeah.
So that's quite a wide scope of what that could mean. The next group, and I've sort of tried to list these in tiers of how competitive these players are. So the next group is Sharks, who we talked about earlier. So these are players who are probably coming from Magic or Riftbound or Pokemon or one of these other games, and they're just trying to play these tournaments to basically win the prizing and then sell it for profit. So you're unlikely to see these players at your locals, just yeah, maybe at your store champs. The next level of player I've said was your store championship players. So for a lot of people, set champs is sort of the highest level of competition they will play. And I think that's actually a large percentage of the player base will never
Yeah.
go beyond a set champs. So
I've
def
noticed a lot of people traveling for it this time, and even in previous ones.
Yeah.
Like set champs, they're not just going to their local and that's it. They're
Hmm.
doing all of them.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that too. And going back to what we talked about earlier, I think during particularly I remember in set 7 and 8, I think there was pretty much you'd see every the same players every Saturday and Sunday. If you went to two store
Yeah,
champs, whether it's an hour north or an hour south of your house, you'd be seeing the same sort of players.
yeah,
And then there was a bit of a drop off after sort of Fabled set 9, 10, and 11, and now that's definitely ramped back up.
yeah. I felt Jafar had decent turnout,
Yep.
but yeah, the other ones around that weren't as great.
Yeah, that's true, and I guess that's I'm interested. Do you think it's the turnout for store champs? Do you think it's more to do with the prize card or the people are chasing it, or do you think it's to do with whether they enjoyed playing that particular set?
I think it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Like the people that care about a bit more value
Hmm.
will do a bit more traveling for store champs. But then if it's a bad format, the locals won't bother traveling as much.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's a good categorization.
Yeah. Sort of like if you look at your list there, yeah, the ones slightly above store champs towards sharks
Hmm.
will, yeah, they care about the value where and don't care about the format as much, but yeah, just below that, more towards the local,
Yep.
but still championship player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good categorization. All right. So I guess while we're talking about locals, yeah, I think there's been an uptick in turnout to locals since the last month. I think there's new.
Yeah.
I think it's all trickling down. So probably if there's more value in the prize cards and there's more value in collecting, it just brings new
Yeah.
players into the game. And then you're not going to see the people just chasing prize cards are pretty unlikely to show up to your locals on like a Wednesday night or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's just more eyeballs on the game and more people purchasing in and collecting and building a set,
Yeah.
then you're going to get more people showing up to locals. And I think that's starting to play out a bit. I've seen a lot of new players who I've never seen before.
Yeah. I think I think they've gotten really lucky for the timing in Australia for everything that's happening at the moment
Yep.
because we're getting this influx for the Toy Story. There's more value, everything there.
Hmm.
Then we just got the what's it, the Buzz promo,
Yep.
the Learn to Play event. So that's going to help feed into that.
Yep.
And then in a couple of months in Australia, we'll be having packs.
Yep.
And that actually brings in a lot of new players as well. So, yeah, that will give us a good run towards the end of this year to have some strong Lorcana local player numbers.
PAX, just for anyone who doesn't know, that's PAX, Penny Arcade Exhibition. It's a big
Yeah.
expo, and they do a big. There's always a huge Lorcana section there, and they're running like a learn to play event at every single one. And that was one of the things that got me into the game when we started playing. Yeah. So, as locals, in terms of kitchen table and casual players, I think these players probably don't. I don't think their experience will have changed much if you're just like sitting at home and playing with your kids, other than the price of cards going up. If you're just
Mm.
trying to buy packs and sort of crack them with your kids and open a
Yeah.
box or something.
I think that group will increase slightly
Hmm.
just because when they open a pack in, they just go, oh, this is a $20 card and I
Yeah.
spent $10 on it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as long as the availability is there and the pack price doesn't get too high.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree with all that. And then the last one here is new players. And that one I'm not sure whether the new player experience has changed much with the change in the landscape.
I think like the landscape, so the base price of cards, I think is going to go down
Hmm.
for deck building.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a bit less daunting for them looking at like tier 1 and 2 decks,
Hmm.
depending on how deep they're looking at jumping in when they're coming on as a new player.
Yep.
Yeah, I find there's two sorts of new players. They're the ones where it's like, what do I need to do to get to a local player?
Yep.
Or then you have the other end where it's like, what do I need to do to get to their store championship or big tournament player?
Yep.
And the latter group there, they want those, it doesn't need to be perfect tier one, but if they're looking at $3,000 for a tier two deck,
Mm-hmm.
that can be very daunting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think let's talk about this. So, in terms of the collector's market, I think the price of, say, enchanted cards and particularly graded cards and even prize cards has probably gone up a lot. Well, it has gone up a lot.
Yeah,
So, in terms of that side of the game, the collecting side, if you want your high rarity cards, um, you're just going to have to fork out more money. At
yeah,
least I think that's probably going to stay the case for a few sets. But
yeah,
on the flip side of that, the legendary sort of chase cards, like I think one of the most, using an example from last set, one of the most popular cards, or maybe one of the most powerful cards I should say, was the Dale card.
yeah.
And you can pick that up for, like, they were like between $8 and $15. I saw a lot of them listed at.
I should get around
Whereas,
to picking a couple of them up because it's a card I just want to have in case I want
yeah,
to play.
yeah, so like when there's more people cracking more packs looking for these high rarity cards, it actually pushes the price of playables down. Would you agree with that, or
Mostly, except for the high playables. So the ones which were sort of like a $40 to $50 card
yep,
will often go up to 100-ish.
yeah,
But
right.
then anything that's like 20 or under will go down.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
th-
and the
I
middle band tends to stay about the same.
I think I have seen that play out. I feel like maybe it's just a set thing. Yeah, I think if you're a new player, there's certain colors at the moment. I mean, the main one's purple. I think
Hmm.
unless you've got a lot of money, you're just priced out of playing that color, which is a bit of a shame.
A
But
lot of
it's
the big ones are rotated out though, besides Demona, I think's the main big one left.
well, there's three.
And
There's
Hades.
there's
Yeah.
Demona, there's Hades, and the one you left out is Dumbo,
Dumbo. Oh, yes.
which
Yeah.
is just
Yeah.
yeah. That one's just a Fabled was a unique set where there was a couple
Yeah.
of really high value chase cards, and then there was
Yeah.
200 reprints. So
Yeah.
the chase cards are really bonkers in that set.
But yeah, I talked to you about this in person, but yeah, set nine for players was garbage,
Yep.
besides those couple of chase cards.
Yep.
And they were quite expensive because no one was buying it.
Yep.
But now with this insurgence, you can't find Fable anywhere.
Yeah.
But
True.
a lot of those singles are coming down in price now.
Yeah, okay. So that's yeah, I guess that's just yeah, availability of cards. If people are cracking packs, then there's going to be
Yeah,
more of
because
these for
people are
sale.
going for the big enchanted and what are they called again? Iconics.
Yeah.
And they don't care about all the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, so to me, I think the new player and probably one more thing to talk about with the new player experience, I think the starter decks have gotten a lot better over time. I think
Yeah,
there's still a lot of room to improve because if you it used to be that if you took a starter deck to locals, it was just an absolute joke. Like it was just
yeah,
filled with completely random cards that you would never
yeah.
see in
Like
competitive play.
70% of them were vanillas
Yeah,
with no shift or anything.
yeah. But now I still don't think those decks are competitive. But I think if you show up to your locals, you could probably win a few games with the starter deck.
Yeah,
So I think that's gotten better, and I think there's a lot of room to improve. I don't see why they don't just make starter decks like full of good cards instead of half of them are decent cards and half of them are
yeah.
filler. So I'd really like to see that improve to the point where you could take a starter deck to locals and be semi-competitive.
One
But
thing
I,
I have liked, oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, sorry, go for it, Geoff.
Yeah, I have liked the supplementary products with good promos, like the deck box with Elsa or
Mm,
Lilo. Lilo? Yeah.
yep,
And a few other things like that where it's like, these are staple cards. Let's just get a bunch of them more out there at a, pseudo high rarity.
yep,
So, people who want that high rarity can get them and they'll sell off their normal ones.
yeah. I think. on top of that, yeah, like when Strength of the Raging Fire, that used to be a $20
That,
card in set 8, and then
yeah,
it was one of the promos in set 9, so that was great.
yeah, and
Um,
I want to see more of that.
and yeah, I guess one of the ones that's interesting is even like the store champs card from this set, the Woody. That's definitely a playable card.
Yeah,
And yeah, I don't remember a lot of the old store champs prize cards actually being competitively viable. So I kind of like that design too.
yeah, like having them playable and iconic, like IP relevance
Yeah,
is good.
yeah. No, I agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess just getting your opinion on this, it feels to me with a lot of like the quote unquote Pokebros who are sort of in the shark category who probably
yeah,
aren't interested in playing the game, but they're coming in to try and win prize cards, etc.
yeah,
They sort of come and go from the game. I feel like there's been quite an emotional reaction this set to new players coming in to win the prize cards. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't, I don't I guess if you want an influx of interest in your game, you need, well, that's going to come with an influx of prices probably, which will attract people to come play your game. And I think it makes it harder for these sort of store championship level players because definitely it becomes harder to win, make your top eights and win prize cards and win tournaments and get your mats and stuff. So I
yeah,
think if you're in this basket,
yeah,
that's probably not a good thing for you. But I do also think the influx of money and players and cards into the game, it will bring more players to locals and it will bring newer players.
yeah,
And overall, personally, I think that's a good thing. I would love it if I showed up to locals and there was 16 or 20 players every week. That would be
yeah.
amazing.
Oh, definitely. Like touching on people complaining about like these sharks coming along.
Hmm.
I've actually found in games the best way to sort of like not have them turn up is if the local players work as a group to become better players
Hmm.
and help each other.
Yeah.
Because the moment the average player isn't that far behind a sort of competitive player, it makes Sharks' lives a lot harder.
Yep.
So they will stop trying to come into it and will disappear.
Yeah. So you think the community's got to drive that. Like all the local
Yeah.
players need to help each other and teach
Yeah.
each other and
Like you don't
improve.
need to aim to be a world champion,
Yep.
but just work on those fundamentals, help each other with deck building, get some good dialogue going,
Hmm.
and just bring up that so they don't feel like they've got like a 70-80% win rate and bring it down to like a 60%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to combat it, I guess. If you want
Yeah.
to keep, yeah, because I get it. Like you want the top 8 prizing to go to local players because it's your
Yeah.
local store championship. I
Yeah.
I totally get that. So yeah, as a community, let's in our locals, let's come together and yeah, let's all help
Yeah.
each other and yeah, try and beat the sharks that way. But
Yeah.
yeah, overall, I'm so happy there's just more players coming into the game because
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it was getting worrying when there was only 2 or 3 people showing up to locals last set. So now I feel like we're getting 5 to 8, and hopefully that number continues to grow.
Yeah, like this last week, like locals have been getting decent numbers despite being a week before a pro release, which
Yeah,
is notoriously dead.
yeah. Oh yeah,
And
just on the pre-release, while you mentioned that, and because you were talking about
mm,
promos earlier, I think that's been another big win for Ravensburger, and I commend them for that.
mm.
I think
Oh, the
the
pre-release promos,
the
yeah.
pre-release kits with the promos just it's just so nice to show up and get like a what feels like a tailored product that you're showing up to rather than like here you go, here's 8 packs,
Mm.
now go and do your thing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And having more than one promo as well is also good. It gives people an incentive to go to multiple
Hmm.
and even pick up the stock at the end of the event if there's any left over.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's been nice because we last set we went to there was two of us, myself and Sarah, and we went to three, so that's sort of six total. We didn't get one of each color. We got like a couple of duplicates, but then we were able to do trades with other people who were looking for those. So
Yeah,
that's just another nice sort of community building thing.
yeah,
So yeah, and I guess that that's probably part of the new player experience too. I think new players will come to these sorts of events, and it might be your starting point. I'll go play a sealed or something and see if I like the game. And yeah, that's
yeah.
just gotten way better since they released the kits, I think.
Yeah, it makes it feel like, for some reason, it's less daunting being given a pre-release kit to make a deck out of than 6 boosters.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Like, it's a complete psychological thing. And also just explaining to new players, like, often I'll have someone come in and I'll say, hey, pre-release coming up. You get a kit like this
Mm-hmm.
and build a deck out of it. And
Yeah.
you get to only use those cards. So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about all these people with other cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a really good selling point. And most stores, I believe, have like flat pricing for pre-releases
Yep.
or near flat. So, you don't have to feel bad that you're not winning all your games because
Yeah.
you're not losing out on value.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I'm all for flat pricing. I like it at pre-releases and I like it at locals. I think flat pricing is just the way to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, personally, I'm a fan of anything below a store championships
Mm-hmm.
should be flat pricing.
I agree. Yeah. That's my stance as well.
Or just a small amount of gravy for the top, like first pick of a promo or
Yeah.
an extra promo type thing.
Yep.
Nothing too. So you don't want people paying for $50 at a local event sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Oh, I did think of one more category we did not cover for this.
Oh yeah, shoot.
Ravensburg.
Yes. And I guess
How?
by extension Disney.
Yeah. Well, Disney get paid the same no matter how it sells, I think. I don't know their contract, but generally licensing is, there's lots of stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they don't have stock sitting in their warehouses, Ravensburg are happy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, and I guess distributors as well, so the people who sit between them and your game stores and your retailers.
Yeah, they're similar to like this. They're closer to the big box retailers, I think, in that respect.
Yeah, no, I guess that. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're thrilled with the way things are going. If people are buying, particularly probably old sets, like if everyone's buying their old sets and interest in new sets, then that's great for them.
It's going to be curious to how they're going to go with the meetings demand, because they're completely in control of the supplies. Like there are some games where they will continue to print more and more, where others they're happy to just sell what they have and leave it at that.
Yeah.
So like I don't believe there's been any big announcements from them directly what they're doing yet. So that might also be a big factor in the future if the Pokebros hang around or not.
Yeah.
As for example, in Riftbound, for the first set, they were quite expensive a while ago, but the people who are making that have said, we will print this as long as stores are still buying it.
Yeah, right.
And that has sort of made people go, oh, it's not free money just sitting on this box anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, the price has sort of like dropped down to a more reasonable amount.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's... Yeah, I guess it remains to be seen whether they're going to reprint old sets or not.
Yeah. Like, since we've got rotation, I don't think they've got an interest in reprinting the old sets.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought so either. Definitely not set 8 and prior.
Yeah. And I know they're not... Well, they haven't said that they're doing any more printing of sets 9 to 13. But since 13's... Yes, it's 13 we're up to now? Yes.
13 is the new one coming out, yep.
Yeah, since it's a start of a rotation, 6 months' time, they might go, we're going to do another print wave.
Yeah.
because people are still wanting it. Players don't have access to cards.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Uh, I'll keep an eye on that one
Yeah,
because yeah, I guess that if there is reprints, it means the value of cards from that set will probably go down because there'll be more access and there's sort of
yeah,
not the scarcity created by only
yeah,
printing a limited run.
yeah.
But I mean, for players, it might be good if you just
Mm.
the more access you have to these sets, the better. I think if your aim is just to get 4 of each card that you want to put in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next 6 months.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, see if it maintains it or if it comes back down. But at the moment, I still believe we're in an upwards trend.
Yeah, I think so
But
too.
they're plateauing, it feels like.
I agree with that. I think there's been an influx of value and an influx of players, and that feels like it's starting to taper off, and the price of the collectible cards are starting to come down a little bit.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, we'll see what happens with the next set.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah, at
guess
the end of the day, I think it's good and bad.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
I think breaking it down by stakeholder, I think the professionals, people trying to build a career off Lorcana, it's been good for them.
yeah,
The investors, yeah, I think it's been good for them. It's been easier to buy and flip cards when they're going up in value.
yeah,
For card stores, I think, yeah, being able to sell your old product and sort of having more interest in the game has been a really good thing.
mm.
Collectors, I think
I think
for
it
this,
hurts them the
I
most.
think, yeah, I agree with that. Well, it's like there's more availability of cards, but you have to pay a
Mm.
lot more. So I guess it depends what sort of collector you
Yeah,
are. If you've got an unlimited amount of money to spend on this, then you're happy
yeah,
because there's just more stuff that you can
you can
buy.
find them. Yeah,
But probably for your average collector who has a budget, yeah, if you're just trying to collect one of each enchanted or something like that, that's going to be a lot more expensive.
yeah. But their existing collection has gone up in price, which is a positive. But as we discussed, they're not the type of people that want to be selling.
Yeah, yeah. And then finally, the players.
Mm.
I think having more players, having an influx of players, overall is a good thing. But I think for your sort of store champions level player, if your goal is just to try and get a top 8 or win a mat, I think that has become more difficult. But
Yeah,
then if,
you're
if
having to work a bit harder for it now.
yeah, you definitely have to work harder. But I mean, for me personally, I quite enjoy the competitive side of the game, so I
Mm.
kind of enjoy the challenge. But yeah, it depends on where you fall. I think if you're a highly competitive player and you enjoy that side of things, it's good
Yeah,
having more new players and more sort of experienced, quite advanced players coming into the game. Just gives you a more fierce competition when you show up to your store champs. But if you're
yeah,
on the more casual side of that and you just want to win your first top 8 or something, I think that's now become more difficult.
yeah. I'm a bit of an odd player myself because, like, I don't like going to store championships if the card value's low because that means the competition's going to be lower.
Yeah,
I'm wanting to go, like, I hate going to those sorts of events and just pub stomping everyone.
yeah,
And it's like, yeah, I got the promo, but I can't be bothered selling it.
yeah,
But if there's something of value, it's like, oh, there's people care and will play better.
yeah. So you enjoy the competitive side of the tournament more
Yeah,
than the prize itself.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
I've got so many random prizes which are worth something sitting somewhere just
yeah,
gathering dust. It's like I should get around to selling that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, Geoff. Well, I don't have too much else to talk about. So
No,
yeah, I
I think we've
guess
covered pretty much everything.
yeah, and it's been great to have you. You've been playing card games for what 20 years or something, so you've seen these sort of trends come and go. So it's been really good to have someone with your experience on board.
Yeah, it's yeah. At the end of the day, it is just a phase, and it will affect the game long term.
Hmm.
But we will see a downtrend at some point.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's what I'm expecting too. But Yeah, I guess signing off. Everybody keep going to locals and support your local game stores, please. That's what I want to see. I want more people at locals.
Yes.
That's the one area of the game that kind of worries me when locals numbers starts to dwindle, then I have
Yeah.
nothing to do with my weeknights. So yeah, everyone keep getting out there, going to locals, and yeah, if you're interested in improving and stuff, yeah, try and build up that sense of community where everyone's helping each other and teaching each other.
Yeah. Like someone might not be good when you first meet them, but if you help them, you don't know how far they'll go.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, thanks for your time, Geoff. Let's wrap it up there.
Not a problem. Have a good day.
You too, mate. All right, see you, buddy.